Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time here on the GSMC Sports Network. So like and subscribe to the show. First and foremost, hey guys, hope you guys had a great week. Hope that you guys, weren't hurt too bad, after the national title was won by Ohio State. I gotta be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Ohio State. I was rooting for the Fighting Irish. I gotta stick to my blood. I am half Mexican, half Irish, a little bit of Scottish, but most importantly, just a wrestling fan. And that's what we're here for today. We're here to talk about the hottest news of professional wrestling, WWE, AEW. We're here to talk about all the everything, absolutely everything that has to do with professional wrestling. So sit down, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and get ready for the hottest, most entertaining wrestling podcast in the entertainment business. No, I'm just kidding. I'm your average. I'm your neighborhood. Spider-Man. That's me. That's this little podcast. We're the little guy. The GSMC Sports Network is the little guy. Make sure you guys, share. Make sure you guys tell your friends about one of the hottest, sports network coming up in this conglomerate in terms of sports entertainment. So without further ado, let's talk about the wrestling show. Today in our first segment, we're going to talk about some WWE Monday Night Raw. We got WWE NXT recap. We're also going to talk about Logan Paul calling out Conor McGregor, the famous UFC fighter, former champion. We're also going to talk about, ever since this new partnership between TNA and WWE NXT, I thought it'd be fun to kind of have this, have a nice little, like a Survivor Series, like a head-to-head kind of battle. So I devised. I'm just kidding. No, that sounded weird. We're going to talk about a couple matches. We're going to talk about a match card. If they ever did have like a Survivor Series like pay-per-view. And of course, every Wednesday we do this. I give you my Wednesday's wrestling news roundup. We talk about all the hottest news, all the hottest breaking news in terms of the world of professional wrestling. We're going to get on into it. But first, of course, we always have to talk about we're going to talk about the Super Chat. Hit up the Super Chat if you got a burning question or hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We want you guys to know that you can get anything off your chest, absolutely 1,010%. Whether you've been dying to get something, we are all ears here at the GSMC Sports Network. We want you guys to feel like you guys can tell us absolutely anything. Don't be shy, drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on the show, why not hit that $, which guarantees anything you put inside that little chat box, it's going to be featured and talked about on this show 1,010%. So don't be shy, drop your thoughts inside that chat. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, go ahead and sink on into your chair there. And let's go ahead and get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat not your thing, it's all good in the neighborhood. Just make sure you guys hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms, and it's all good. It's already ready. It's already water under the bridge. We do not hold any hostility toward any hot takes in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Just let it happen. Make it like Nike and just do it. So you guys make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about our first segment. We got WWE Monday Night Raw review. Overall, it was pretty good over in the Dallas Mavericks American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, of course. You saw the pre-show arrivals. I like it. I do like the pre-show arrivals in terms of WWE. It kind of gives you this overall like a sports setting, like the NFL does it. I don't think Major League Baseball does it. I know NBA does it as well, where you see these guys, they come in with their fancy suits. They have their nice little, tote bags or their, their gym bags or whatever. I dig it. I think it adds a little bit of realism to professional wrestling that a lot of people kind of lack, as opposed to just starting the wrestling show and just bang, boom, bing, bang, boom, have people start out and start wrestling. But, I dig it. So the obviously main event, Jey Uso was the one to come out first on WWE Monday Night Raw to address the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, for their match at Saturday night's main event. And, I wish I could honestly, positively, confidently say that Jey Uso will become that new champion. But Gunther, he's just, he's on a whole nother level, and, I always had this philosophy in terms of professional wrestling. If a company is ever, in this midst of a back and forth, we're working out with talent, we do not know what the face is going to be on Monday Night Raw or WWE SmackDown. But I'm pretty sure on Raw, you have CM Punk, you have Seth Rollins, and you have Drew McIntyre. But, that bloodline is going to come through. So we're going to have Roman Reigns, we're going to have The Rock, we're going to have Solo Sikoa, potentially, and, perhaps the WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes. But, Jey Uso, he still has a chance. He still has that chance to kind of, get out of the shadow of his family to take on Gunther. But, much like I was kind of preluding to the fact that I feel like if any, WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, I feel like if you're kind of at this crossroads where you're kind of depicting, you're kind of, you're kind of deciding on who you want to be the face of your corporation for the next, couple of years. The belt is always on a heel. The belt will always, always, always be on a heel. And I'm not even talking about SmackDown. I'm not even talking about NXT. I'm not talking about WWE as a whole. I'm talking about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw recently debuted on Netflix streaming. Huge streaming conglomerate, obviously internationally savvy. And I feel like Gunther is that perfect placeholder. He's that perfect heel. He's that in-your-face kind of heel. And I kind of thought to myself, I was like, you know what? Maybe if Damian Priest, obviously he was the guy who was dethroned by Gunther. But if he was a heel, maybe he would have been better. Maybe if you had the Judgment Day just go full force, but instead WWE was like, let's show more of a human side of Damian Priest. They wanted to turn him babyface. They really, really did. And their a couple first attempts I remember on Monday Night Raw was, it wasn't really good. It wasn't really good. I remember when he came face to face with Gunther for the first time. I don't know, I'm not too sure if you guys remember this or not, but Gunther was actually getting more of the praise by the fans. The fans wanted to see Gunther win the championship more and more. That's when you saw Gunther bring up Damian Priest's, ethnicity background. That's when you saw him bringing up the fact that his parents didn't want to pay for a proper education, or didn't even want to, put in any effort toward him, and that he was some bonk-ass person from Bronx or a Yankees fan. That was by Gunther, and Gunther overall put over Damian Priest. And I feel like in this match he'll do the same. I'm not too sure if Jey Uso has the juice to dethrone Gunther. And if you're WWE, you kind of have to ask yourself the question, who do you think could ultimately represent your brand heading into this new era? And, you saw John Cena come back. You've seen, the potential of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. I'm not too sure if there's going to be a superstar shakeup to the point where the World Heavyweight Champion does end up on SmackDown. That could be a huge possibility. Netflix wants the big hitters. They want the Bloodline Civil War, which, with the Rock, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, all of them, everything. So does this really narrow down to the point where if Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Champion, which I believe he won't, does it really mean anything? Does it possibly mean anything? Because at this point, I feel like he is too far consumed with this Bloodline Civil War storyline that doesn't really seem like it's going to be, kind of dying down in the near future. If anything, it's going to get bigger. We got Hikuleo in the wings. We got Azila Fatu as well from GCW. Obviously, he wrestled in Booker T's promotion as furthermore. And I feel like, his destiny is to wind up in WWE. I feel like right now they're heavily pushing him to do more than it probably is necessary to get trained up to be like, hey, honestly, you kind of need to, you need to step in, be part of this civil war here. And I feel like they will eventually join The Rock. And I know there's been talks of both of them joining NXT first, but with the things going down right now, it wouldn't really be much of a shock for them to debut on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown, because you said Tama Tonga, Tungaloa, and Jacob Fatu both just jump over the NXT barrier there and be on WWE SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. So there's still. I really don't know what they're doing with this whole Solo Sikoa Young Bloodline storyline, because you saw. Deeper in the show, how, he didn't even have a chance to kind of speak his mind. Jacob Fatu was kind of looking at him a little disappointed. Maybe this is a foreshadowing to Solo Sikoa kind of being rubbed out, kind of being secluded, not secluded, kind of being excluded by Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and eventually Tungaloa is going to come back. And they're going to want to try to find themselves the next tribal chief. I feel like they're going to dump Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa is going to be on his own eventually, reuniting with the OTC and the OG bloodline. But then that's when you see The Rock come in. That's when you see Hikuleo. That's when you see, Zila Fatu come in as well. Because Zila Fatu and Jacob Fatu were, they were tag team champs in the independent wrestling circuit. They were. So they have huge chemistry together. There's no doubt in my mind that we're probably going to get that in the future, which I kind of hope. But, we're going to see that false prophet. It's like that biblical story, where Roman Reigns is the one true prince. The Rock is that, that heavy tyrant in the Bible, just, wanting to take over that throne. And then you see that, you see that poor little Solo Sikoa, trying to fulfill someone else's destiny. Once when Roman was out, and be like, what, to be honest, I was just trying to be somebody. And then that's something that Solo Sikoa is going to be, he's going to be that false prince that eventually, he's going to come out a little douchey, but he's going to come out, at the end of the day, he's going to have that redemption story. And Solo Sikoa will probably end up finding himself fighting side by side with Jimmy and Jey Uso, with Sami Zayn, and with the OTC to take on this new bloodline, the bloodline that he helped create. We're going to see The Rock with Tama Tonga, Tungaloa, Hikuleo, and Zila Fatu 5-on-5, bang, bang, boom. And, I hope that's the way they're going to do it. But once again, I'm a simple wrestling fan. I'm just like, you or me, talking on this mic. So, overall, I thought it was, it was overall a pretty decent, opening statement from Jey Uso to find out if he was going to take on, find out, that, hey, dude, honestly, I could be in the World Heavyweight title picture, which wouldn't really shock me. All right, so moving on, we got JBL returning, obviously, kind of giving bad juju to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Rey Mysterio was able to pick up the victory against Kofi Kingston in a match, but then after the match, you saw Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston beat the heck out of the LWO. It was good for Rey. I was happy to see Rey get the victory. But, it was all right. Sami Zayn addresses the WWE Universe, stating that he has declared himself in the WWE Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins in the back, obviously. Super proud of him. I definitely like this spot. Obviously, at the end of the show, it was a little bit of, it was hectic. We saw Nia Jax take on Bayley. Once again, Nia Jax proves that she deserves to be a champion for the future, picking up that victory. And then you saw a little turmoil. You saw a little turmoil between the Judgment Day and the back. Finn Balor nowhere to be found, obviously, because of that injury sustained by an attack by Damian Priest during that street fight last week on Monday Night Raw. So then you saw Dominic Mysterio kind of take the reins a little bit. It looks like Liv Morgan is done with him. Raquel Rodriguez is done with him. And as soon as they lose this rematch with the War Raiders, I feel like Dominic Mysterio will be kicked out of the Judgment Day. And, I feel like he's going to be looking pretty lost right now. Maybe like I was mentioning before in the show, maybe like this classic redemption story that Dominic Mysterio maybe could possibly have. But he needs a new storyline. Pete Dunne taking on Penta El Zero Miedo. This was overall just an amazing match. I'm happy that WWE is putting Penta against two of the top two wrestlers that they have in WWE. You have Chad Gable, you have the Battling Brute, you have Pete Dunne. Both of those superstars are absolutely phenomenal. And it was cool to see Penta kind of get into it. I kind of missed that after the match. He did not give that classic, in luchador, in wrestling, in the CMLL or anything like Lucha Libre. Recently I've been doing a lot of, kind of a lot of digging in terms of who this Penta El Zero Miedo guy is. They have those in-ring, performances, but most importantly after the match, you kind of have them just talking in the middle of the ring, and that's just classic, that's just classic Latino wrestling that I really, that I honestly admire, and I feel like WWE should ultimately adapt more now than ever. But, Penta's going to do some great things. Is he going to win the Royal Rumble? I'm not too sure. But, he's a great superstar, and I feel like he's right where he is. He belongs in WWE. He always has. With his brother Rey Fenix, obviously, AEW's Tony Khan, due to injury, time, be like, hey, I'm tacking on this, I'm tacking on this time that you kind of owe us here. We're going to see the Lucha Brothers be reunited on Monday Night Raw sooner rather than later. So, honestly, at this point, and I know this is a point for another time, I feel like AEW's CEO Tony Khan should just be like, you know what? I'm getting bad publicity here. It's about time that I'm just gonna rid my losses here, and losing Rey Fenix and Penta it's pretty damn big. But overall, I feel like it's the right thing to do. All right, so we have Pure Fusion Collective, Shayna Baszler, and so we start taking on Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Sky was able to pick up the victory, which I definitely like that spot. Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre in that main event. You saw Seth Rollins picking up that victory, but at the end of the match was really, honestly, the main story. How Sami Zayn accidentally booted Seth Rollins in the face with a haluva kick. Obviously unintentional, but still building blocks of how Seth Rollins is going to wind up. What Kevin Owens is doing, what Drew McIntyre is doing, and sooner rather than later, Seth Rollins, they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. They have a despised hate for what Roman Reigns did under that bloodline, storyline, under that bloodline rule, and you got to feel for Seth here. You got to feel for Seth. Sami Zayn is still on that, Kevin Owens in the beginning of the show. Once when Sami Zayn declared himself into the WWE Royal Rumble, he kind of told him, he was like, hey, you're my brother, right? You're going to back me up. Like I backed you up. Like everything we've been through, every main event we've been through, we won the tag team titles, WrestleMania Night 1. You're going to protect me, right? Against Hell or High Waters, Kevin Owens maybe potentially planting a bomb between Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. Yeah, it's possibly. That could definitely possibly happen. Cody Rhodes, does he really belong in that bloodline storyline right now? I feel like it's good for WWE if he actually kind of sidesteps it. But, what Roman Reigns wants is that title. I feel like this is more or less kind of creating a bomb, not for WrestleMania, not for Elimination Chamber, but kind of for Royal Rumble. I see these guys, the last 5 left in the Royal Rumble, standing in the ring, looking at each other. I still feel like number 30 is going to be Joe Hendry. I don't know why. That's just my wrestling fandom thinking it'd be badass. So we have Joe Hendry. We have Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Kevin Owens is not going to be in, obviously not Cody Rhodes as well. So we have 2 more spots open to be in the final 5. I think it's going to be Seth, maybe Drew. Drew with that Scottish, with Joe Hendry, maybe they form a temporary alliance. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Joe Hendry would ever do that. But, we're going to have that final 5, that final 4 face-off, and I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait for February 1st. Obviously, a mere week and a half away, and I'm totally stoked. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about our next segment. We got our WWE NXT recap. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alright, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday. Well, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the GSMC Sports Network live, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and injury updates. We talk about promotions like WWE to AEW. We talk about inactive statuses and injury updates as well in terms of, superstars. So let's kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. Make sure you guys check out this video on YouTube on the GSMC Sports Network and the GSMC Podcasting Network on YouTube. Go ahead and check out my WWE Monday Night Raw review and reactions. And now we're going to dive into some WWE NXT recap. But before we get on into any of that, I just want to address a couple of comments we got here from my man Anthony Mazzano. This rivalry, he had this to say. He said, this rivalry needs to stay within the family. I like Sammy, but he needs to go and move on from this. They need to add Zila to their side with Roman, Jimmy, Jey, and Solo. Also, he commented, the side of with Jacob and the Gorilla of Destiny is going to add a hit. It's going to add Ikaleo. That, a lot of people were super excited, especially the WWE Universe was super excited to find out that Sami Zayn was going to tag with Roman Reigns, was going to tag with his former Usos. He was the honorary Us. So honestly, I definitely understand where you're coming from 1,000%, because there's so many, there's Lance and Noe as well. There's Journey, there's a lot of these Samoan wrestlers that could possibly take character in this new generation of WWE. Monday Night Raw, Netflix, and SmackDown moving to the USA Network, going 3 full hours, but I feel like the, Bloodline storyline will probably move to Monday Night Raw. But I like Sammy. I do like Sammy into it. I got to be honest. I like how, you go to any, this will be a little side bracket here. You go to any family reunion. You go to any family reunion. You go to, any dinner, and there's always that one person. There's always, hey, my brother's friend that's been his friend for the longest time. He's part of the family. He's a brother to me. Maybe he ends up dating the daughter. Maybe he ends up, marrying her. Or maybe Sami Zayn, maybe he is that guy. Maybe he is that guy that, he's part of that bloodline. He's like that guest. He thinks he's part of the family. And then, he makes bad decisions. But then again, that's Jay's guy. So then he makes these bad decisions and they accept him back. But then maybe he makes another bad decision and another. Or maybe he makes a good decision. Who knows? I feel like keeping Sami Zayn with this Bloodline Civil War storyline, I gotta be honest, I like it. I do like it because I feel like it adds a little bit of like a stick of dynamite, if anything. Jimmy, and Jimmy will never betray Roman. That's their guy. And then, Jacob, Tama, they will never, ever, ever, ever turn their back on Solo. But who's the wild factor in this? Sami Zayn. With Kevin Owens, too. That's his best friend. So, that's his bloodline. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, that's their own bloodline there. They're both Canadian wrestlers. Absolutely. Future WWE Hall of Famers. They've had some of the greatest tag team collaborations in the world of professional wrestling, but at the same time, they've had some of the greatest rivalries. So why not, kind of add that little extra mix of flavor there, having Sami Zayn be there. And I don't know, I just feel like it's, I feel like that would be, great 1,010%. So let's go to move on to our WWE NXT review. Obviously, keeping this short. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Smash that $, which guarantees anything you put inside that little chat box. It's going to be talked about, debated about, maybe even take place of a segment. If it's that absolutely, juicer on this podcast. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. All right, we got WWE NXT. Corey Graves. Corey Graves is back in NXT. I know there's been a lot of, a lot of back and forth, kind of banter of will he wind up in WWE NXT. I feel like it's kayfabe. I feel like all the stuff that's coming out, ringside news, cage side seats, wrestling.com. I feel like this is. I feel like it's kayfabe. And Corey Graves, I'm not a huge fan of Corey Graves. I've kind of ultimately explicitly said that on this podcast. But I ultimately feel like, dude, you're never, ever, ever, ever going to outshine Pat McAfee. And I'm sorry, you're not going to. You don't really have the great nature. You don't really have that great, chemistry with Joe Tessitore or Wade Barrett. So, you stick it with Vic Joseph and, Booker T, who are absolutely phenomenal together. And even when you see him on the shows, and, I've noticed this on the two shows, he's been part of 2 shows on NXT. I just, as a wrestling fan, and, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Corey Graves, but it just doesn't really seem like he's perfect there. And that's nothing against Corey. Absolutely nothing against Corey Graves whatsoever. He's been with Michael Cole for so long. Maybe that's a ploy by WWE to be like, hey, why, ever since, since Pat McAfee's back, why do you go balls deep for, Pat McAfee instead of keeping Corey Graves on the mix? That could definitely be an argument. Corey Graves, he's been with WWE for pretty long. Obviously, he was a wrestler. And then, he kind of had that Bret Hart, injury where he got really badly concussed. After that, he stepped inside the ring. It was never really the same. He was really groggy. He was feeling disoriented. He was feeling lightheaded. And, sometimes when you get hit in the head, it doesn't ever, ever kind of be the same again. But Corey Graves, you got to throw some respect. I do respect Corey Graves, and I do love the fact that maybe he could potentially be a spot in NXT. Maybe. So we got WWE NXT review. We had, the Dawn of NXT defeat Rich Holland to retain his NXT North American Championship. You saw Shawn Spears and Izzy Dame on the sidelines. Is the Dawn of NXT potentially creating an unlikely, deathly alliance between Izzy Dame and Shawn Spears with, Luca Cristofino, Stax Lorenzo, and obviously Adriana Rizzo. It would be quite of a twist to be like, hey, I'm done with my family. I'm gonna jump on these guys. But I don't think it's anything, I don't think it's anything to be worried about. I feel like, the Dawn, classic misunderstanding. He even attacked Shawn Spears at the end of the match and was like, dude, what are you doing here, dog? What are you doing here? So then you saw Trick Williams in the back slap the crap out of Wesley. Was actually pretty cool because this new Wesley character, and I ultimately felt like this slap made him feel like kind of like a total little B word. Kind of killed his character. I feel like Trick Williams, obviously, the former WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. It's kind of hard to, just drop the title and be like, I'm Billy Badass once again. But, I feel like NXT creatives kind of, I feel like they kind of killed the character of Wesley here. You kind of see him, you kind of made him a little bit obsolete. And I know he did make up for it winning that match, later on in the show. But, Wesley was this guy who came back to challenge for, Oba Femi's WWE NXT North American Championship. Everybody thought his career was done. He thought his career was done. He had to learn how to walk again. He had a very bad back injury, and then he comes back to NXT. He can't get his North American Championship back. He wants to retire. Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel from TNA, from the Rascals, come back to be like, hey, let's get it going again. Let's get it going again. And then he turns his back on the Rascals. And then now he's causing drama in the backstage with Javon Evans, Cedric Alexander. And now he's starting drama with the former NXT World Champion, Trick Williams. Not really the best bet, bro. Not really the best thing for you to do. Because I do believe in some of the talents that Wesley ultimately kind of prevails in terms of his, his matches. But, I feel like he needs a storyline. And I feel like this isn't a storyline. This is more or less just for NXT to be like, yeah, Trick lost the championship, but we're going to put him up against a prominent former WWE NXT North American champion to be like, hey, you know what, Trick Williams still got it. But so once again, like I said, I feel kind of bad for Wesley there. Bayley came out. Obviously, her and Julia were confronted by Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. And first and foremost, I got to be honest, I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset at this CW presentation, this production. You had 4 big names in the WWE Universe, and then you cut to a commercial? You have these girls like fighting it out in the back. You even saw Dion Lennox's, his entrance in picture-in-picture, and no sound, no nothing like that. And I get it. But then again, this is a huge reason why a lot of sports probably are kind of sharing away from cable television here. Once when the CW, and I'm not trying to be like a jackass or anything like that. Obviously I do live in Southern California. When the fires were happening, I remember I turned on NXT New Year's Evil. I was like, dude, I can't freaking wait for this crap. I mean, not crap, but like this awesome crap. I'm just kidding. No, but, and then it was like, hey, honestly, we couldn't show you this because of the coverage of the fires. And that's something that cable television, that's where they make their money off of, and I got a little upset. I was like, what the heck is going on? I was forced to check up, results on, on the online. Thank you, Bill Gates. I'm just kidding. No. Moving on. But overall, I was like, I don't know. I don't know why they had a commercial during these 4 girls' confrontation. I felt like it would have been pretty badass. It would have definitely made these girls' a little conflict they have and the match that they will have, be a little bit more intense if they kind of, you see it on Monday Night Raw all the time, WWE SmackDown, where everybody runs out. You see Jamie Noble, you see Jason Jordan, Kenny Dykstra, you see all of them come out, all the referees be like, hey, stop it. And then all of a sudden, like, let's just go to commercial. And you're like, what? Why? So that honestly kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I know I don't seem as much passionate about it, but I am. Just kidding. Moving on. We say Kehlani Jordan and Jada Parker come face-to-face. Kehlani Jordan, obviously, she was confronted by Zari and Sol Ruca basically telling her, hey, it's going to be okay, Kehlani, it's going to be okay. And then Kehlani just shrugged it off. She was pissed off. And she actually came out to screw over, Jada Parker with her match later on that night, which was actually, pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. I did a segment on why I feel like Kehlani Jordan should turn heel. I feel like it would be great for her character, for her future, and a potential to gain back that WWE NXT Women's North American Championship. I feel like it'd be pretty cool. But there's also another woman in the stride of looking for that championship. We got Stephanie Vaquer, former CMLL, New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong Women's Champion, come out. And, she wants to fight. She wants that championship. Fallon Henley right now, she obviously, in terms of the champion, I can't really talk down or can't really talk crap about it. But was Fallon Henley kind of a bookmarker, kind of that transitional champion, kind of that person that just be like, you know what, she was a placeholder for Stephanie Vaquer, because WWE is planning to get more international. And, I'm not a huge fan of the Fatal Influence. I feel like, when you create these factions, kind of much like you see the Pure Fusion Collective on Monday Night Raw, when you create these factions, you should absolutely 1,010% have them start absolutely stronger than ever. And it just didn't come in fruition. And so now Jasmine Nix looks weak. JC Jane. The only person that semi looks big, it's Fallon Henley. And, I'm not saying that she hasn't paid her dues to kind of be the face of the NXT Women's North American Championship, but it just, wasn't the same. Lexis King defending his NXT Heritage Cup against Charlie Dempsey. We had a 1-1 bout until round 4, where you saw Alexis King finally embrace his roots and blatantly low blow when the referee's back was turned. He kicked up that heel up in Charlie Dempsey's down under. There's a lot of things about this. Obviously looking on the bright side, trying to play devil's advocate here. Lexis King really didn't have a choice. Miles Bourne, we had, Tavion Heights. I don't know if Ren Sinclair got involved, but, what was his last choice? What was his only choice? And second of all, obviously blaming Lexis King for being like, dude, you're no better than your father. I like it. I do like this for Lexis King, 1,010%. I often kind of compared him to like a younger version of Y2J Chris Jericho. Maybe it's the black hair and the blonde hair and all that stuff. Maybe that it is. But he has an aura around him. He has this confidence. He could be on the mic and he can actually, he can cut a pretty decent promo. And that's something that Y2J, when he debuted on Monday Night Raw, the countdown, like it was pretty badass. It was cool. So I feel like Lexis King is in the right spot right now. At this point, Naomi and Bianca Belair address metaphor. Andre Chase backstage is still on a mission. He's still missing Chase U, but he wants to be a successful singles wrestler. Are we going to see? We saw Carmen Petrovic pick up the victory against Jada Parker thanks to a distraction by Kaylani Jordan. And Kaylani Jordan and Petrovic are a little, they're buddies. They're buddies. So maybe that's a future heel program that they can have in the future. And we saw Stax and Lorenzo lose against Jensen and Vance in the main event. We saw Austin Theory and Grayson Waller come onto NXT. So I guess there's no breakup. We're not going to see these guys break up. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller will probably be part of this portal, this transfer portal from SmackDown to WWE NXT. And then in the main event, we saw Obafemi defeat Eddie Thorpe for the NXT World Heavyweight Champion. Sitting ringside, you saw Theory, which seems to be Obafemi's next victim. He was kind of, throwing some bad juju toward him. Trick Williams at the end of NXT comes out and states that he is still interested in becoming having another run for an NXT championship. All right, guys, so we do not go in here. We're going to talk about Logan Paul calling out the UFC star Conor McGregor. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas. We talk about inactive statuses and injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We talk about promotions like AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to the WWE. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show with 1,010%. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network to get more of me. I'm just kidding though. About this bad hairdo. I'm actually getting a haircut tomorrow. So make sure on Friday you guys tune in to see this new badass haircut that I'll get. Obviously hit up in the chat. Give me a scale from 1 to 1. Telling me if it's badass or not. I'm just kidding. I'm moving on. So without further ado, let's jump on into our next segment. Obviously, hit up that super chat, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, to kind of contribute to the network, contribute to the show. All right, so we have Logan Paul calling out the former UFC champion, Conor McGregor. I don't really think this is a bad idea. I really don't. Definitely don't. He's been kind of sort of a part-timer in WWE, and ever since he's come to WWE, he's been badass. He's brought that hate, he's brought that love. I personally don't understand why somebody would hate Logan Paul. He was trained by the phenomenal one AJ Styles, and you see, obviously, you see the phenomenal forearm, you see a frog splash, you see a lot of AJ Styles' moveset inside the arsenal of Logan Paul. And from someone who came from being doing this thing with his brother on YouTube, and I feel like this is a huge reason why a lot of people do kind of hate the Logan Paul or the Paul brothers. What's the brother's name? Jake Paul. It's because they went out there and they were YouTube stars. People didn't take them seriously. People often thought of them as annoying, but they trained hard. They did a lot of things that a lot of people were, you kind of look deep inside your soul and you be like, hey, can I honestly do that? They actually, they had the cojones to be out there to be like, you know what? I want to be a UFC fighter. I want to be a boxer. I want to be a YouTuber. They looked in the mirror. They didn't doubt themselves 1 second. So is that why fans are absolutely upset with the Paul brothers? Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. People are huge, envy. Oh, envy is probably something that a lot of people go through. And, not to make this personal, obviously, this is a wrestling podcast. But everybody has that, they follow their friends on Facebook. They follow their friends on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Who cares? You see them, he just bought a new house. What? She just became a doctor. What? He just became a boxer. And then they automatically, without hesitation, just start, man, I wish I can do it. But instead of telling them that, or to be happy or grateful for them, a lot of people, and it is human nature is kind of disgusting, they envy that. They definitely envy it. And so they get upset. And that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of people do hate the Paul brothers. Jake, Logan, is because people are too afraid to kind of, step out of their comfort zone and try to pursue things that they damn near could do if they put their mind to it. It's, you've seen a lot of athletes, like LeBron James, like Scottie Pippen, like Michael Jordan, to be like, hey, honestly, there are opportunities out there. The opportunity's out there 1,010%, but people, they don't have that drive. They like to think of excuses. They like to depend on the people they know to get the job that they want so damn dearly. They're not willing to go out there and go to college and do the things that, do the things and the steps that that necessarily it takes to become that successful. They're not going to do it. Why not? Everybody has that. Somebody once told me, it was like, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. WWE right now, who do you know? Oh, we recently had this partnership between, TKO Holdings with UFC. We signed Logan Paul. Dana White, Triple H, Nick Khan. Yeah, they're buddies. At the Republican convention, like I said, not making this political or anything like that. Dana White, he's out there. Putting the UFC out there. That's his company. That's his baby. Can we possibly see a fight between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor? Netflix? Yeah. Why not? WWE's on Netflix. We had the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight on Netflix. It gained over millions and millions of viewers. Close to the Super Bowl. It's money. Hey, no big deal. No big deal. We don't want that. Even Dana White in an interview, he said it himself. He's like, this fight's probably never going to happen. Logan Paul, obviously under contract with WWE, but he said in an interview that, if Conor McGregor was down, I would definitely, go against my WWE contract, probably get sued millions and millions of dollars just to get paid millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of more dollars with this fight against Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor, too, he said, hey, dude, I'm not afraid to dabble with WWE later in my career. And that's something that a lot of UFC fighters, they're fans of the WWE. They love the WWE. It's a combat sport. It is a combat sport. Sure, it's, choreographed and yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, what's the thing that's going to make you money? Your presentation skills, your physique, your ability to handle wrestling moves, your trash talking abilities. That's the one main thing about WWE. Like if you paid, I watched a lot of WWE, a lot of WWE specials like the rising of, Ohio Valley Wrestling and Florida Championship Wrestling, Tough Enough, whatever you like to call it, back in, Al Snow training people, this and that and the other. And the main thing was about it, anybody could go out there with a big ass six pack with muscles for days, so yeah, Hulk Hogan Maniac running wild. Can you cut a good promo? That's the reason why they love John Cena. That's the reason why John Cena was recently, he was literally this little guy, and then he was pushed up to the top because of the way he can cut a promo, the way he could talk on a mic, and the way he could ultimately bring fans to invest their time, attention, but most importantly, the money to buying tickets just to kind of see this guy. And I feel like Logan Paul's kind of the same thing. Logan Paul, he's going to piss people off. Ever since he joined the WWE, they're like, oh, he can't do what we can do. He's just a YouTuber, much like Jake Paul joined in boxing. He's just a YouTuber. He can't box. Dude, they hung in the ring. They can really maintain themselves physically, emotionally, psychologically when they're in a combatant sports, perception. They can handle it pretty damn well. I wouldn't worry about them. Logan Paul going on again, going up against Conor McGregor, I feel like it would be a huge win-win. At this point, I really, don't think that it would be much of a surprise if they do so. I feel like Conor McGregor, he even said it in an interview, he could damn near become the next WWE superstar, and he has the trash talking abilities. You guys remember when he was, large and in charge, talking trash, even with that Mayweather fight, he was talking trash. He made millions with Mayweather at the MGM. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So Logan Paul actually had this to say, and I quote, "If McGregor wants to fight, we're running at it like it's an epic fight. I would step away from WWE for a second to go on to do the fight." And if WWE President Nick Khan, matches $250 million Logan will stay where he is right then and there. Conor McGregor hasn't fought since July of 2021 after suffering a brutal leg injury against Dustin Poirier. Outside the cage controversies, he's had, civil lawsuits where he was found, civilly liable for sexual assault. So, there's still, with Conor McGregor, it doesn't really necessarily seem like his head's in the game. Doesn't really necessarily seem like he's ready to take that next step in WWE. Sexual assault charges, allegations and stuff like that. Why not fight like Logan Paul? Like, why not? It just be stupid not to. It's a layup. It's a layup to get back into combatant sports conversation. It's a layup to be mentioned on ESPN. It's a mention to be paid $250 million. Why not? Let it fly. Let the free fly flags, man. Why not? I would definitely, as a wrestling fan, I would love to see this happen because Logan Paul, inside the wrestling ring, has been doing pretty damn good. All right, guys, we're running rapidly out of time. I'm going to try to wrap this up. Next, we have our WWE NXT TNA. We're going to pretend like we have a Worlds Collide pay-per-view. I'm going to give you guys my match card. When we return, so grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back for the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about all the news in terms of the world of professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring. Backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about all the inactive statuses, injury updates in terms of wrestlers. We talk about, promotions like WWE, to New Japan Professional Wrestling, to the GCW. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network so you guys can get some notifications when we go live. All right, without further ado, we got WWE NXT TNA PLE. We got a Worlds Collide pay-per-view coming up, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, ever since TNA and WWE NXT announced their partnership, we have the main event. We got Trick Williams going up against the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry. I think this would, I'm seeing 49-51 Hendry here, and I'm saying this most importantly because he does have that title. But Trick Williams, he's probably one of the hottest prospects in WWE right now. If Trick Williams joins the Royal Rumble, he could definitely win that stiff, man. He could definitely 1,010% win that spit, man. I would not be surprised if Trick Williams enters this Royal Rumble and probably winds up the final 7 or the final 6. I can see him coming in maybe at like number 14. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. And then, of course, number 16, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And then, bam, right there. I would love to see this. If TNA and WWE NXT had a PLE, you can count that this will definitely be the main event. Next, we have Hank and Tank going up against Eddie Edwards and, damn it, what's the other guy's name? Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. Out of this match, I think the system would win this one easy. And I love Tank, Hank and Tank, but they're, they don't have what it takes to take down the system. So, in my opinion, I feel like, we're going to see them win this. We got the No Quarter Catch Crew going up against AJ Francis, Rick Swann, also First Class going up against Casey Navarro as well. You know what? Maybe this might be my WWE bias, but I got the No Quarter Catch Crew, winning this match. I feel like they have more continuity. I feel like they have a lot more chemistry inside the ring. It would not surprise me if, Casey Navarro, Swan, and AJ Francis pick up this victory. But to be honest, if these guys jumped into a ring together, I would pick WWE NXT to pick up this victory. All right, next we have Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, the former WWE NXT Women's World Champion, going up against Ash and Heather by Elegance. And just by, this would be a good match. And I'm feeling 51-49% as well. But got to go with the Prodigy. Got to go with the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. That will will this team to a win. We'll end up hitting that, Pop Rocks? Pop Rocks on, not Ash, but she'll hit Pop Rocks on Heather by Elegance, get that 1, 2, 3, and pick up that victory. So that would be pretty badass to see. We got Stephanie Vaquer taking on the Juggernaut. We got Jordynne Grace. I love myself some Stephanie Vaquer. Obviously, she's had her championships in the past. But TNA Knockouts World Champion for, I can't even count on my own little fingers here. Jordynne Grace would easily, cleanly win this match against Stephanie Vaquer. We got 70% Jordynne Grace and we got 30% Stephanie Vaquer. But it was a good damn bout. We got Mike Santana of TNA taking on the Dawn of NXT, the NXT North American Champion. And one of them holds a championship belt, one of them doesn't. But that's not going to change my answer. Mike Santana is the standard of TNA. He's beat the Weapon, Josh Alexander. He's beaten a lot of top tier TNA talent, and I know a lot of you people are thinking, TNA superstars can't go up against WWE superstars. That's a lie. That's a lie. Mike Santana could definitely be the one to kind of, fill in that void, kind of be that person to be that kind of sleeping giant. I have Mike Santana defeating the Dawn of NXT. We have the Rascals. The Rascals obviously are going to take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom for those NXT World Tag Team titles on Thursday on TNA Impact. But let's have them fight against somebody else. We got Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander for this match. I got to be honest, I got to go with the Vets. I got to go with Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, the Rascals. Find a way to take down the rising star, Javon Evans. And, I do love Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander was huge, especially in 205 Live. So it wouldn't surprise me if, this would be an amazing match. I would definitely love to see that. All right, we have the TNA Knockouts champions, Spitfire, going up against Jada Parker and Lash Legend. I love myself some... Damn it, this is a 50-50 match. I honestly cannot tell who would win because, I know Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson are absolutely 1,010% future WWE World Tag Team Women's Champions, but Spitfire, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, you can't beat the girls like these. Their chemistry is, it's unfathomable, it's uncanny. You can't compare it to that. You really, really can. But then Lash Legend, the power, the dominance, overall just the confidence, along with her and Jakar Jackson, I'm going to be able to pick this one. So I'm going to, this one's a coin flip. Next, we have Oba Femi taking on Moose, the TNA X Division champion, going up against the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. Moose is, he's a former TNA World Champion, so this would be a pretty hard-fought battle, but I have 55% Oba Femi, and I got 45% Moose. Damn near good match. This would be probably the match of the century right here. We got Frankie Kazarian going up against Lexis King for the NXT Heritage Championship. Give it to Kazarian. Kazarian's a huge, he's a veteran. He's been part of professional wrestling for quite some damn long. I kind of compare him to like a young Randy Orton, where he's not afraid to slap somebody in the face. That legend killer, that overall killer instinct, where he's not afraid to just basically be like, "Hey, dude, my spit doesn't stink, dude." And I see him defeating Alexis King for the NXT Heritage Championship. Frankie Kazarian obviously kicking some ass. We got Kayla Jordynne going up against Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz is pretty damn impressive. She's pretty damn good. But I got Kayla Jordynne winning this one by a hair. I got 49% Steelz and I got 51% Jordynne. You know, you can't ignore the fact that Kayla Jordynne was the inaugural WWE Women's NXT World Heavyweight Champion, so I feel like that's pretty badass. And we have the dream match. This is the last one, the main event. We have Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom going up against Matt and Jeff Hardy. You know, it'd be, you know, kind of a cop out if I'm like, you know what, in their heyday, Matt and Jeff Hardy would defeat, you know. In the now, I feel like Nathan Frazier and Axiom would win. And I'm sorry, you know, I know a lot of people be like, dude, what are you talking about, the Hardys, man? What are you talking about? And I feel like if this was WWE circa Vince McMahon era, we would have Matt and Jeff Hardy win the WWE NXT World Championship titles in a ladder match. But, you know, I don't think anybody wants to see that. I feel like Nathan Frazier is absolutely impressive. Axiom is even more impressive. And these two together, they're just magic. And they've been magic on NXT. They make the tag team division on NXT seem like the best tag team division in professional wrestling. Because you think about it. You have SmackDown, you have Pretty Deadly, DIY, the Street Profits, going at each other. Head to head, Los Garza's in it as well, Motor City Machine Guns. And then on Raw, you have the Judgment Day, the War Raiders. And that's about it in terms of tag team. Am I missing somebody? That's crazy. On AEW, Private Party, Matthew Nicholas Jackson are furthermore probably staying on the New Japan Professional Wrestling side, kind of laying low after that trash storyline of the EVPs. So, honestly, why not give Nathan and Frazier and Axiom that spot? So yeah, we have our winners, we have our losers of the first ever Worlds Collide WWE NXT going up against TNA. Make sure you guys rewatch that. If obviously sound off in the comments section of how you guys feel about it. All right, we have little time. I always do this to you guys, running over time, of course. We got our Wednesday's Wrestling News Roundup. We're going to talk about all the hottest breaking news in terms of the world of professional wrestling. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go absolutely anywhere. Alright, and we are back for the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas. We talk about inactive statuses, injury updates amongst stars. We talk about superstar, transactions. We talk about extensions. We talk about new signings in terms of contracts. We talk about anything from AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to WWE. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network, and you will do no wrong. All right, without further ado, we're running rapidly out of time. So we're going to talk about some of the hottest breaking news in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Let me go ahead and shut this up here. All right, here we go. Bada boom. Realest guy in the room. How you doing? All right, sweet. All right, we got our first news break right here, guys. So WWE was considering of holding a press conference during Super Bowl 59. During the press conference at the Superdome, obviously the Caesars Dome, Caesars, Las Vegas, when you think about Las Vegas, it's kind of been the home of UFC for quite some time. So it wouldn't surprise me that WWE would do something like this, like a Fanatics tour, something like in terms of selling WWE WrestleMania tickets for cheaper than they actually are. And they do that. If you attend any Fanatics tour that involves WWE WrestleMania, you can definitely get a lot of good deals on some tickets. Spoiler alert here, not that I've gone to some and that I know. I'm just kidding, moving on. So WWE is reconsidering doing this. Why are they reconsidering doing this? You could take attention from, from the NFL. Possibly, that could possibly be the reason. But, overall, I feel like doing it during the Super Bowl, it's kind of like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the NFL is king. The NFL in terms of ratings, in terms of the USA, it's not really like, if this was international, if the Super Bowl ever went international, maybe WWE would have more of a landscape, would have more of a, more of a yearning, more of a passion to do it. But, going up against a bunch of football fans, like I said, not to the same that it's a lost cause. I'm pretty sure if they go out there and they we have Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena. If they go out there, they got to have some huge firepower. They got to have John Cena, probably AJ Styles and Roman Reigns. They got to have all these guys, CM Punk. New Orleans is a huge city, one of the best cities in the United States. Definitely would love to visit New Orleans, 1,010%. But right now, WWE is seriously reconsidering, trying to... Damn it, why is it not working? There we go. Trying to reconsider something like that. All right, we have WWE Royal Rumble TNA stars have been confirmed. We're not too sure who it is. We have a lot of shocks. This is going to be, quote unquote, from Nick Khan, the WWE president. This is going to be one of the most unpredictable Royal Rumbles you have ever seen in your whole entire life. Obviously, you got my man Bill Goldberg there. We have Matt Cardona. We have Jordynne Grace, Tessa Blanchard, and Ricky Starks, formerly an AEW superstar, trying to get out of his contract. There's a lot of stars that could debut on Royal Rumble, and I know WWE's definitely going to push this crap. They're going to push it. They're going to make it seem like this is going to be one of the biggest events in not just sports entertainment, in the whole entire world. This is going to be bigger than Donald Trump's inauguration. I guarantee it. I'm just kidding. No, moving on. We got Britt Baker. There's been a lot of rumors, surrounding Britt Baker and her drama with her former boyfriend, Adam Cole. Also drama with AEW. I feel like since she returned to AEW, she had a chance to, fight Mariah May for that championship. Maybe in the future, I feel like she will ultimately dethrone her. But, there's been a lot of speculation. She was having some backstage and, turmoil with MJF, and now with this Adam Cole thing and with her personal problems, I feel like right now Britt Baker, she was she's been a huge, what do I say? Milestone? Not milestone. That sounds weird. Cornerstone. She's been a huge cornerstone in terms of the women's wrestling in AEW. So it would break my heart to see her do anything less than being a champion again. But whatever's going on, fix it. Figure it out. Fix it. Whatever. But, don't make the fans suffer. And I feel like as a fan, I'm suffering because I keep, opening up ringside news, cage side seats, I'm looking on my AEW previews and I'm like, oh, Britt Baker's in drama again. Dude, I don't want to see that, dude. Come on, man. Figure stuff out so we can, continue to, cheer for you. PCO destroys the TNA Digital Championship at a GCW event. TNA officials actually weren't really happy about this. I You know, that's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? TNA, PCO said in an interview that he was approached by AEW executives long ago, saying that he had a huge match with Kenny Omega if he would, if he would accept a contract for XYZ. But, PCO, the Canadian Frankenstein we got here, I feel like TNA did a decent with his booking. I don't understand why he would really be upset. Obviously, but then again, I'm not him, so maybe, there is something behind the scenes. But PCO was actually asked about it. He said, TNA, yeah, it was good. But under new management, it's So, but this is bringing us this new TNA and WWE NXT collaboration that so far, it's only been one day. You've seen them on TNA Genesis. It seems like it's been, pretty badass. And even when they were doing it early, in the middle of 2024, it didn't really seem like it was hurting much. So maybe perhaps PCO, like maybe, there's some behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, there probably is. But, I just hope it gets figured out. So Brody King and AEW has trademarked Hellhounds. We have, it seems like Aleister Black, Malakai Black is kind of being alienated from AEW. It seems like he's going to be out of it anytime soon. AEW has, Julia Hart, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King. Are they going to be the new Hellhounds? It wouldn't really surprise me. It would be actually pretty good for them to do so. Brody King still has, he's still pretty badass. Buddy Matthews, I can ultimately thought Buddy Matthews was going to wind up fighting with Rhea Ripley on WWE. Well, not with, but, I don't know. I feel like if you have a chance to work with your significant other, why not? Lince Dorado, former WWE 205 Live star, signed with WWE as a trainer, maybe perhaps eventually fighting inside the ring again. WWE is clearly, guys, heading international. I don't know if you guys haven't seen that yet. Penta, his debut in WWE was absolutely off the charts. You've seen Los Garza. You've seen, damn it, what the freak is Santos Escobar and Elektra Lopez? Legado del Fantasma. You've seen them get a lot more love. You've seen Shinsuke Nakamura win the championship. We have Gunther as the World Heavyweight Champion. We got Rhea Ripley from Australia. WWE is international. WWE has been international. There's only a few American stars, which, to be honest, I feel like this is the best thing for professional wrestling, because you have a lot of American subsidies. You have a lot of territories that you can possibly wrap your mind around. But imagine, we have 50 states. What about over, 500 in some countries, or 400. I could be exaggerating. We have New Japan, professional wrestling. We have the CMLL, Stardom. You have all these things that could potentially arise superstars. And I feel like it would be great for WWE to finally kind of accept that. So stars like Josh Alexander and Jordynne Grace of TNA, his contracts are up. Josh Alexander's contract is up in a couple of weeks. I could be wrong. But are they going to be signed by WWE? I feel like Jordynne Grace is actually, at this moment, dotting the I's, crossing the T's of an exclusive, of a very decorative WWE contract, and she deserves absolutely every penny. Freaking, 7 figures. She deserves it all. So does Josh Alexander. He can definitely be something pretty badass. And obviously, my last story, I talked about it before, Malakai Black is done with AEW. He's going to come back to WWE. His wife, Selena Vega, of the LWO, is representing. So it would not surprise me if you see Malakai Black come back into the fray of WWE NXT or SmackDown, Raw. Me, personally, with Obafemi as the World Heavyweight Champion in NXT, why not bring back Aleister Black? Why not? I feel like that'd be pretty bad. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be pretty cool. All right, guys. So, hey, that's it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed my show. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys had an amazing week. It is Wednesday. Today is hump day. Obviously, that's what my mom used to call it. Don't get too excited. Don't get too crazy. It's like, you're getting over the hump in the week. We got Thursday, Friday, and then bam, into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network. Follow us on Twitter or /X, whatever you like to call it. Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. We have a whole bunch of other podcasts to check out on the GSMC Sports Network. So if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, check all those guys out. They're absolutely amazing, absolutely stunning. They're riveting. They're great. Stay beautiful. Absolutely stay beautiful. But most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit.